What's going on, J Squad? Welcome back to the bunker. I'm your man, Sergeant J Max. With me, as always, is Sergeant Gnome. So today, guys, I just wanted to talk to you about something that I've noticed that's going on in the weapon industry, and that's modularity with pistols. Is it a fad or is it a trend? So the reason why I'm asking is because, to me, in my opinion, it seems like there's a lot of companies now that are starting to come out with a modular setup for either a line of pistols or a particular pistol. And I don't know, maybe they're doing a test run on it just to see how it does. But in my opinion, it seems like it is a trend and not just a fad. Now, this all started back with the Sig Sauer P320, and I know that a lot of you guys may not be too excited about the Sig P320 because of the issues that it's having, and it's totally understandable. But with pistol modularity, you can buy one pistol and you can have 2 or 3 different pistols from that one particular setup. So it all started with the Sig P320, started out as a 9mm, but with the FCU, and that's the fire control unit, and I'll drop a picture of that in here so you guys know what I'm talking about. For those of you that don't, for those of you that do, with the Sig P320, you can have that as a 9mm, you can have it as a 40 cal, or you could have it as a 45 ACP. So that's 3 different configurations for one pistol. So you could buy one pistol and have 2 or 3 different pistols out of it. Now, the other Sig that I'm going to talk about today is, of course, the P365. Now, as many of you know, I started out with the X Macro Comp, and that is Serena. And just for all of the YouTube safeties out there, there is no bullet in the chamber, no magazine, so Serena is clear. Now, this was my introduction into the compensated pistol world, and that's the X Macro Comp. Now, the thing about this pistol is, yes, it's compensated, but this is more of a blow-off chamber and not a compensated pistol. So the barrel of the P365 X Macro stops right about here at the beginning of the blow-off chamber here. So it is a compensated pistol, for lack of a better term, and it was super exciting to me, and that's why I bought it. Now, the thing about Serena here is it didn't start off like this. Serena started off in a polymer frame, which I have Selena in now, and again, Selena is clear, there's no bullet in the chamber, no magazine. But the P365 X Macro started out in a polymer configuration. And the reason that I made the change to it is because when it originally started, or when I first bought it, it came with the safety on it. Now, I don't know what the regulations are to a T in California, but some of our pistols have safeties, some of them don't. Some of them have the trigger blade in it that is the safety, and some of them come with the manual safety. Now, when I bought my M&P, it came with the manual safety too, and I didn't like it. I didn't want to train with it. I didn't want to have to be concerned about flipping the safety on or off, or training with it, or anything like that. I just wanted to be able to shoot the gun when I needed to shoot the gun, in the event that I ever needed to use it in a self-defense situation. Now, safeties aren't a bad thing. They're actually a pretty good thing if you're concerned about, negligent or unintended discharges, just as long as you're training with them. Make sure that you're doing that. However, for me, I wanted to remove the safety, and with the M&P, if you remove the safety from the polymer frame, excuse me, they do have, or there are plugs available that you can put into the holes of the polymer frame so that it doesn't look like there's holes in your pistol. But with the Sig Sauer and the polymer frame, they don't make any plugs that you can put into those holes to fill in the safety. So if you remove the safety, it's going to look like you got, holes in your pistol. Now, you can buy other polymer frames from Sig Sauer or other manufacturers, like the Wilson Combat grip that I have here, that don't have the holes where the safety would be, and that's usually right about here on the pistol. So I bought this pistol. I put the IntelliFire trigger from CNC Tyrant so that it did have some form of safety on it, and I ran Serena like this for a while, and it wasn't a bad setup. I just wasn't happy again with the way that the pistol shot. I don't feel like the recoil was managed all that well or any differently than it was when I bought Serena in the polymer frame. So after the Wilson Combat frame, I started looking into ways to mitigate the recoil, and I came across the Ace metal frame from Icarus Precision. Now, when I first put this pistol together, I did a video about it, and I thought that this was the best setup that you could do for this particular gun. And to be 100% honest with you, the recoil is very minimal in this setup, almost non-existent. And I really love shooting her the way that it is. But with the metal frame, you're going to add weight to the pistol. And of course, if you have a full magazine, that's also going to add some additional weight to the pistol. Now, in California, we are on a magazine capacity restriction. There is no such thing as large capacity magazines. We are on a magazine capacity restriction. So most of these pistols come with a 12, 15, 17 round magazine that you can add to them, or that come with the pistol. But unfortunately, we only get 10 rounds. So, imagine what that 2 or 3 or 5 or 7 extra rounds is going to do to the weight of the pistol. And if you're carrying it all day, might make it, heavy, unbearable. I carry all my pistols in a chest rig. You guys know that. So it's not digging into my side. It's not weighing down my pants. I don't have to worry about, cheddar bobbing myself. So that's one of the reasons why I carry in a chest rig, because I don't want all of that weight on my pants. I don't want to have to carry things in my pockets. I like carrying a chest rig. And if you guys want to know about that, check out some of the other videos in my collection. But that's a whole different topic that we've already discussed ad nauseum at this point. So anyway, guys, with the P365 FCU, you can take the FCU from the P365 and you can make 2 different pistols out of that if you want to. You can have the P365 in a 9mm, and you can use the FCU and make it into a 380, which would probably be something in the size of this gun right here. So if you want something super concealable, you can make you can take your FCU and have a Sig Sauer 380 if that's what you want to do. Now, are there metal frames for the 380? I don't know. Are they coming? Possibly, because again, modularity is a trend that I see, or I've witnessed a lot of companies moving towards, as opposed to moving away from. So the modularity trend started again with the SIG P320, has transferred down to the P365. And again, one of the other popular pistol configurations to do is the Radian Ramjet and Afterburner. Now, you can throw this slide on this frame if you want to, but this much of the end of the frame or end of the pistol is going to stick off the end of that frame. So it's in this configuration, it's a 3.7 inch length slide and barrel. So 0.6 inches, 7 inches off the end of this frame right here is how much the slide and barrel would stick out off of the end of that one. But you still have the smaller grip. And as for me, like I said, I don't have huge hands, but I mean, my hand wraps almost all the way around this particular grip module, and that's why I wanted to change. So I was gonna do another metal frame loadout, but then Radian came out with the back strap and magwell, and I just wanted to see what the difference was overall with the Radian Ramjet and Afterburner. Is it really worth the squeeze? Is the juice worth the squeeze? And yes, guys, I gotta tell you, it is. If you haven't shot a P365 or any other pistol that accepts the Radian Ramjet and Afterburner, I suggest that you go out and do so, because it really does eliminate or reduce recoil, not eliminate. Recoil management all comes from your grip, your stance, and your training, guys. So just keep that in mind. No matter what configuration you decide to go with on your pistol, it's all going to boil down to your grip, your stance, and your training. The more training you get with the gun, the more you're able to figure out what grip works best and manage your recoil. But I digress. So as I mentioned, modularity with pistols is becoming a trend in the industry. Now it started out with the SIG, but now we're seeing it go into the, it went to the Ruger RXM first that I could think of, and then it went to the Springfield Armory setup. Now those other two companies are just doing it with one pistol platform. The Ruger RXM was actually a collaboration between Ruger and Magpul, and they have, you know, grip modules that you can buy for the Ruger RXM that are polymer and metal. I was going to say monomer, but excuse me, polymer and metal frames. Now, unfortunately, in California, we don't get access to the Ruger RXM, so the P365 or the P320 and now the Springfield Echelon are the pistols that we have, you know, that we're allowed to have, I should say, that are in a modular form. And again, you know, after I bought the P365 X Macro, I felt like that was the end all be all, but I wasn't right. So as time went on, and the more, you know, information and videos I saw about the Radian Ramjet and Afterburner, the more it intrigued me. And as I've always told you guys, if you're going to do upgrades to your weapons, your EDC gear, or anything like that, wait for a sale to come along. And that's what happened. The right sale came along and everything just kind of fell into place because I already had the polymer frame from the X Macro, and, you know, the length of the slide and barrel with the Radian Ramjet and Afterburner setup was going to fit this slide perfectly, so I didn't have to buy a whole new slide, and I can have two different configurations of the same pistol, and I could see for myself which one shot better. And to be 100% honest with you, they both shoot super flat, and I've got a video about that if you guys want to go check that out. And I just want to say thank you to all the supporters, and if you're liking any of this content, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, comment, like, and subscribe. Tell me what your thoughts are about modular pistols. Do you wish we could have the Ruger RXM in California? I know I do. I mean, who wouldn't want to have another pistol? I mean, these are like, you know, Legos for grown-ups, but they're a little bit more dangerous. It's not just something you can step on in the middle of the night and ouch and walk away from. You know, these have a little bit more responsibility that you need to have if you're going to be playing with your pistols. But anyway, guys, along with the modularity of the pistols, of course, you know, the other mods that you're going to add are probably a trigger, a light, optic. So take those things into consideration when you're, you know, deciding whether or not you want to change your pistol from this configuration or a polymer configuration as the X Macro comes in to a metal frame. Now, Icarus Precision isn't the only company that makes a metal frame for the P365 series. There's ECM Precision. Sig Sauer themselves has an aluminum frame. Sharps Brothers, Shallow Tech. What's the other one I'm missing? Oh, Juggernaut Tactical. They make a P365 frame, but it's going to be in this configuration here. So if you want to stay with this configuration and you don't want to add the Radian Ramjet and Afterburner, you can buy a metal frame, throw your P365 slide on there, and you got a metal frame P365 in this size. Or you could shoot 380 caliber out of it. Just make sure that when you're going back and forth between calibers, if that's what you're going to do, that you have the right magazines, and then you also have the right slide and barrel combination for that caliber, because you can't shoot 40 or 45 out of a 9mm slide and barrel. But I'm sure you guys know that already. So yeah, guys, I mean, the other thing that you want to do is, of course, you want to do regular maintenance on your pistols. You don't got to clean them all the time, but clean them every so often. You know, 500 to 1,000 rounds, 1,000 to 2,000 rounds. Just keep them clean, keep them lubricated, and that'll minimize, you know, any issues that you may have as far as, you know, the slide returning the battery, issues with the trigger, or anything like that. Now, it is recommended for the P365 that you change out the return spring, the trigger return spring, and the recoil spring assembly every 2,000 to 3,000 rounds. And that's just basically a tune-up for your pistol, just like getting an oil change for your car or a tune-up for your car. You know, it's going to keep it running for a long period of time without any issues. Now, the other thing that you want to look out for, of course, is, you know, making sure that your striker fire pin is still, you know, hitting the primer on the ammunition that you're using, so that it gives you a proper firing of your ammunition. So just kind of keep that in mind too. You may have to take a look at the striker or the firing pin every so often, just to kind of keep your pistol running in optimal levels. And then again, once you're going through with compensated pistols, just make sure that you got the right recoil spring. Now you can run both of these pistols with the factory recoil spring, but sometimes it is recommended to go to a lighter recoil spring. That's also going to change your recoil feel of the gun, but again, it may not return your slide to battery. So all of these things you got to keep in mind if you're going to change the modularity of your pistol. So as we started out in the beginning, pistol modularity is a trend, not just a fad within the industry. And even with AR-15 rifles, you can take an AR-15 rifle and you can throw a 300 blackout upper on there, throw some 300 blackout ammunition in there, and you have one lower and you got two different rifle capabilities. So this is something that has been going on in the pistol industry or handgun industry or weapon industry for a while, and I just think it's going to get bigger from here. But anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and let's have a discussion about whether or not you like weapon modularity or not. But also, keep in mind the cost of everything, because you're going to buy your pistol at one price, and then once you start adding things to it, the grip module, the rating ramjet and afterburner, the backstrap and magwell, the trigger, all of those things are going to cost or add additional cost to your budget. And you still got to factor in ammo, training ammo and defense ammo. But again, guys, I just wanted to pose that question to you and hear your thoughts on whether or not you think pistol modularity is a trend or a fad. That's all I got for you today, guys. Thank you for joining me in the bunker. I'm your man, Sergeant J-Max. With me as always is Sergeant Jerome. May God bless America. May God bless all of you. And we out.